MMA Lockup is for the most casual observer and the most ardent fan, ready to climb in the ring himself.
You guys are listening to Jeremy Hurt and Bernard Oliver on the air with Don McGuire. Make sure you go like us on Facebook. Make sure you go follow us on Twitter. Look us up on Google+. Don, how are you this week?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, sir, man. Got quite a busy schedule, but if you know me, you know I thrive on it. So, insane. So I've had an awesome week. How about yourself, sir?
Man, mine's going pretty good. It's a new month. It's a new month at work. I'm back in here in the MMA Lockup studio. Jeremy's over there. Jeremy, what's up?
How you doing?
And things are good, man. We were talking before. We had such a great conversation before talking about, the things that you've been through. And Jeremy brought up a great point last week that we should just kind of sit back and listen to what Don's been through. So, Don, do you have any crazy stories or anything interesting that you want to share with us this week? We're trying to take a different approach with this.
Don McGuire Storytime.
Yes.
We need a bump for that.
Well, a lot of people truly don't know the whole story behind Don McGuire. I mean, I basically have been in this business half of my life, and, just recently, have I dedicated my life thoroughly to MMA and, completely with the UFC, Bellator, and reaching the pinnacle of many, many heights in my career. I just was recently inducted into 2 Hall of Fames, and I also have just been made a moderator for MMA World Rankings. But as far as crazy things, man, I've got so many crazy stories I could tell you, training camps, things with different fighters. I mean, this is a glorious sport that we're in, and the unique stories, and every fighter is unique in their own way, and it's just been a blast to be able to be a part of this business and the joyous ride that I've been on. We were just talking before my interview, how Rob Calloway and Coach Smitty, and how a lot of my friends are in common with you in the boxing world, and how boxing is an integral part of my career, and I don't think people really understand that. But to put it in a nutshell, I shoot just about every training camp for almost every championship boxer in the world, and I don't brag or go on and say things about things like that because it's an integral part of my career, and it puts food on my table. But secondly, it's the privacy of the fighters. I mean, it's, like I brought up with you, it's like, football players. They go in on Monday and they watch where they made their mistakes on Sunday, and basically, that part of my career I can't share with people, but the theatrics and the love and everything that occurs behind the scenes is a blast, and I think that's what's keeping me, as a part of this world. But my love for MMA, and now our juncture with Knockout Artist Radio and me joining MMA Lockup and everything, it's just been quite overwhelming. It's just been a crazy ride, and being honored and being interviewed by Jeremy Hurt and Emmy Award-winning Bernard Oliver is just a pinnacle of my career.
And we appreciate the accolades that you're throwing us. You guys are listening to MMA Lockup on Fox Sports 1190. We're chatting with Don McGuire, combat sports photographer, award-winning photographer. There's so many titles that you have out there, Don. And I know you were telling us before of, a couple guys are kind of divas. And I always find that kind of funny. You get that candid stuff. I'm not going to name any names. You can name them if you want to. I don't want to step on any toes. But what kind of guys do you run into when they're divas and they come at you the wrong way? How do you handle that kind of thing?
I put them in the place, bro. I straight up. My motto is don't take my kindness as my weakness. And I'm probably one of the most humble men you'll ever meet, and I walk the walk that I preach. But in saying so, I'm not going to mention any names either, but take, for instance, this last fight that I shot this weekend. It was a military event, Cage of Honor 58. I was pretty much, when I walked in, pretty much adamant about leaving the fight due to the lighting situations. But I have so much love and passion for the sport and the fighters that I decided to stay, even though, in this business that I'm in, you're only as good as your last fight. And people don't really understand that thoroughly. I mean, it's truly, you're only as good as your last fight. So in saying, I didn't care. I said to myself and to the sanctioning body, if I don't get these kids as pitchers out there, then who will? So I stayed and I shot the fight. Yes, I argued with the promoter about the lighting, to no avail. So I apologize for the quality of the last posting I did, but, it just shows, true professionals, really care about the sport, and it's not all about the money. And, if it brings hatred towards me, I don't care, but I will never shoot another Cage of Honor, because of the fact that, to me, I felt it was more about the money than it was about the fighters, and I don't roll like that. I'm down for the sport, not down for how fat my pocket would get. Most people don't know that I contribute 70% of my earnings back into the sport. And there's a lot that I do for free. So, and I have 11 employees that I take care of and their families. So in saying that, you got to be straight up. You got to put people in their place and not take any crap from anybody. And just because somebody thinks they're somebody doesn't mean that you have to tolerate their ignorance.
And I understand that, definitely. I know when people come in our gym thinking they're hot stuff, Coach doesn't like to be mean, but he likes to say, get them out of there. And, we get them out of there means, hey, test their cojones when they're in the ring. They want to walk in there like they're hot stuff. Don't come in anybody's gym disrespecting, basically. And you and I and Jeremy and Dwayne, we've all talked about that before. I mean, disrespecting somebody's gym is the last thing you want to do walking in there as the new guy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I threw out a Pittsburgh Steeler, and I'm a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I have been a Steelers fan since 1974.
And you have Steelers on your leg, right?
Yeah, I got the only officially licensed Pittsburgh Steelers prosthetic in the world. Mm-hmm. I'm the first person they ever gave a license to, and I'm the only person they will ever give a license to, and much love to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the marketing department for that. I appreciate the respect. I'm rocking my Steelers hard. I'm no bandwagon fan here, bruh.
It's getting tough this year, Don. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Hey. I'm not going anywhere if they go 0-16, but it's getting rough.
Yeah, it's getting rough, but at the same time, it is what it is. You got to take your lumps. You can't have a glory day every day. It's the same. It's the same in fighting. You go out there, you give it your best. If you walk away, a loser, then so be it. You just try to figure out how to come back the next weekend and prosper.
I won't bring my anti-Todd Haley crusade to the show at this current moment. I'll just say it's rough.
It's been a rough year all the way around, bro. Yeah. Being a Steelers fan, I'm not a Roethlisberger fan.
You know what? We have that in common. That's strange. Actually, I don't know how strange it is. That might actually be fairly common.
Well, it goes back to 2006. I was involved sort of kind of with that Super Bowl, and, I was kind of touched with the season that occurred and had a chance to, work at a couple of the games. And the thing that hurt me the most was to watch Charlie Batch play the season all the way into the third game of the playoffs for Roethlisberger to come back and then not even commend his teammates, not even say thank you, Charlie Batch. And then when they won the Super Bowl, it was like he won it. It wasn't like it was a team effort. And you guys both know me very well. There is no I or you in team. And, I lost all respect for him at that point.
You're listening to MMA Lockup on Fox Sports 1190. This is Bernard Oliver, joined by Don McGuire with Jeremy Hurt over here in the studio with us. We're listening to Don's story time right now. I think it's a very, very cool thing to have somebody with such a storied past as you on the team of MMA Lockup. And it's kind of like, you gather around with your granddad, and granddad gathers up on, not your granddad, I'll say my uncle. I'll say my uncle. I don't want you to think I'm calling you old, Don.
Hey, I'm getting ready to be a grandpa, though, so you have that right now.
That's true. So I feel like the uncle's gathered all the nephews and nieces, and he's got story time right now.
You still can't call him Peepaw. That's off limits.
That's what they're calling me, though. That's funny you say that. The other day I walked into a restaurant, and somebody said, "Hey, Peepaw, how you doing?" Well, see, if most people don't know, I'm from the Midwest, and we kind of have our own little language out here, and we thrive on the Ozarks. The Ozarks is a great place to be, and don't be astonished if you ask me how I'm doing, and I say fair to meddling. Out here, that's just a common quote that means not good, not bad. I'm just okay, and I just love the way the Ozarks is. It's a wonderful place to be. A lot of the talent in the MMA world comes from the Midwest. Michael Johnson, Zach Cummings, Josh Downing, Jesse Zwigan. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I mean, not just MMA, but boxing. BJ Flores, Jose Gonzalez, Jacob Chavez. I mean, it's been a wonderful ride out here. When I left California and came out here, I was like, wow, what am I doing? I'm walking away from the hotbed of the sport. When, not knowing, I thoroughly walked into the new breed, the new hot spot for the sport. And, I picked my cam back up and started rocking fights out here for ESPN. And, the last fight for ESPN Friday Night Fights that I shot was Terrible Terry Smith versus Rob Calloway. And then a couple days later, I shot, not a couple days later, but a couple weeks later, I got to shoot my friend Diego Corrales' fight, and it was very bittersweet. He won, and then 3 days later, I got a phone call that he had been, laid to rest after a tragic accident on his motorcycle. And, it's just, that's the part of the sport that's bittersweet for me, because I'm probably on my third or fourth generation of fighters, watching them go from kid to pro, some to champ. And every time, it hurts when I lose one of them, because I look at all these fighters as my kids. I mean, if anybody follows my page, all these fighters I call son. And in retrospect, they call me Pops, call me Father, they call me for advice. That's the part of the sport I love, man. That's something that you just can't walk in and get. It's something that takes years and years of respect and integrity to get. You only got two things in this world, and that's your cojones and your word. And I try to live by that. And the sport, both boxing, MMA, and really all sports in general, even the NHRA, has blessed me with a lot of love. I mean, there's so many different avenues of my career that I don't even know how to handle anymore. I mean, just in this last month, my son was in a major wreck. I found out I was going to be a grandfather. I got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Now I'm being inducted into the World Mixed Martial Arts Hall of Fame. I got Photographer of the Year, and I'm part of MMALockup and our conjunction with Knockout Artist. And man, I'm astonished where my career is going and the love that the world is showing me. It's much heartfelt. I mean, it's been a glorious ride. I mean, it's been a tearful ride at some point. I thought I had already reached the pinnacle of my career, and I was even, contemplating retirement. But that doesn't look like it's coming anytime soon from all the contracts that I'm getting and all the ventures that are being presented to me. And, like I said, it's just wonderful to be able to be a guest on such a prestigious show, and not only be a guest, but to be a part of now. And, I think we need to rock the sport and all sports thoroughly to the moon, man. No ceiling, no limits.
Well, Don, yeah, we're going to get out of here and get on to Dr. Gary Finesse. You guys make sure you join us after the break and come back and listen to what UFC Ringside Dr. Gary Finesse has. It's always weird when I say his name. Doctor.
Hey, tell Dr. Finesse I gave him a shout-out and much love, man.
I will do that. Thanks, Don, for coming on this week.
Hey, no problem, man, and I'm glad Mikey Beltran said to tell you guys thank you, and he was very appreciative of the professionalism and the great interview that you guys had and the aspect that we come at him. And he said much love and respect, and he wants to come on anytime we want him on.
He should come ref a session on MMALockup. He should come to the studio and ref a segment. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
That would be fantastic.
That's all I'm looking for, mustache tips. I'm single-minded.